For centuries, knowledge has been hidden in plain sight across the sands of time. Whispers of lost civilizations, cryptic symbols, and forbidden histories have been erased or concealed. What if the truth was never lost, but hidden? Welcome to Eye of Ancient Mysteries, where the past speaks and the future listens. Sit back, open your mind, and prepare to uncover the untold secrets of our world. Let the journey begin now. The mysterious disappearance of Flight 370, most likely. The truth about what happened on board the Boeing 777 will never be revealed. In the late hours of March 8, 2014, a Boeing 777 operating Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 was preparing to take off from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Malaysia, en route to Beijing, China. At 42 minutes past midnight, the crew received clearance for takeoff. On board were Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah, his first officer Farik Abdul Hamid, 10 other crew members, and 227 passengers. Less than an hour after departure, the powerful Boeing was flying over the South China Sea at an altitude of 10,670 meters, 35,000 feet. The sky was clear, the weather calm. Everything seemed normal, and the crew wished Kuala Lumpur's air traffic control a simple good night, preparing to switch communications to the controllers in Ho Chi Minh City. Only 2 minutes later, MH370 mysteriously vanished from the radars used by Kuala Lumpur, Ho Chi Minh, and Bangkok. Its transponders were switched off. The loss of these signals made tracking the aircraft virtually impossible. This could be due to a system failure or a deliberate deactivation by someone on board. All attempts to contact MH370 failed. The aircraft appeared to have disappeared without leaving the slightest trace. When it failed to arrive at its destination, Beijing, the Boeing 777 was officially declared missing. Thus began the most expensive investigation in aviation history, involving teams from Malaysia, China, Australia, the United States, and several others. The regions around the South China Sea and the Thai border, the areas where the aircraft lost its signal, were searched most thoroughly. Some of the evidence later gathered indicated that after losing contact, MH370 deviated from its route, made an unexpected right turn, followed by a sharp left turn. These were the last known data points investigators had. No artifacts, debris, or wreckage from the Boeing 777 were found. Satellite records showed that all onboard systems and technologies were functioning at the moment of disappearance. Despite this, its signal was cut off. In the end, investigators concluded that the aircraft likely disappeared somewhere over the southern Indian Ocean. Massive underwater searches began, but not a trace of MH370 was found. The search continued unsuccessfully for more than 16 months. Then something surfaced on the opposite side of the Indian Ocean. On July 29, 2015, a 2-meter metallic fragment washed ashore. Its serial number confirmed it was part of the missing Flight 370. This led investigators to believe the aircraft had crashed near Union Island, east of Madagascar, where the debris was discovered. Later, other fragments from downed aircraft were found, though not all were definitively confirmed to belong to MH370. Even so, the main theory remains that the Malaysian airplane crashed despite the lack of solid proof or additional confirmed wreckage. What are the likely causes of the incident? 1. Suspicious passengers. 2 passengers had boarded with stolen passports, traveling illegally, and wanted by Interpol. This raised fears that they might have hijacked the plane as part of a terrorist act. However, investigators found no connections between the men and any known terrorist organizations. It was later determined that they were simply asylum seekers traveling under false identities. 2. A technically skilled hijacker. Another theory accused a different passenger, an aerospace engineer capable of taking control of a Boeing 777. However, no evidence supported this claim. 3. An onboard fire. Another hypothesis suggests a short circuit and subsequent fire that disabled communications and forced the pilots to attempt an emergency diversion. A severe fire could have compromised electrical systems, including the transponders. Yet this theory remains unproven, and there was no distress call from the pilots of Flight 370. 4. Gradual cabin depressurization. Some speculate that a loss of cabin pressure caused both pilots and passengers to lose consciousness. But this is unlikely. Oxygen masks would automatically deploy for 12 minutes for passengers and up to 1 hour for pilots. Initially, the theory wasn't dismissed, but later evidence showed that course changes were made manually up to 90 minutes after signal loss, ruling out incapacitation. 5. Deliberate action by the captain. A special investigation raised serious suspicions regarding Captain Zahari Ahmad Shah. At his home, authorities found a flight simulator on which he had allegedly practiced a route ending in the southern Indian Ocean, eerily similar to MH370's presumed final trajectory. But whether this is meaningful evidence or a coincidence remains disputed. If he deliberately crashed or hijacked the plane, what was his motive? Captain Zahari, 53, married with 3 children, had an impeccable 33-year career without financial, psychological, or behavioral issues. Some theories suggest a terrorist act, a political protest tied to the conviction of Malaysian opposition leader Anwar Ibrahim just hours before MH370's flight, or simply pilot error. 6. The first officer. Some also suspected First Officer Farik Abdul Hamid, age 27, who was soon to be married. But investigators similarly found no motive or evidence linking him to sabotage or suicide. The official conclusion, the 2018 Malaysian government report confirmed that there had been no mechanical failure on board, and someone had manually and deliberately disabled the aircraft systems to cut communication entirely. A striking detail: MH370 continued flying for 7 more hours after its signal was lost. This supports the theory that the aircraft was hijacked and then crashed once its fuel was exhausted. Yet, as stated earlier, almost no wreckage has ever been recovered, and the identity and motive of the person responsible remains unknown. To this day, the disappearance of Flight 370 is one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in aviation history.